my channel. I am so glad that you are here, and I hope this video finds you doing well. Well, before we get into today's video, if you haven't already, go ahead and grab yourself a cup of whatever you like and get yourself ready to be settled into a nice thought-provoking conversation about, well, dreams. Dreams. And it's really one of my favorite topics and has been probably for the last couple of years or so. But the type of dreams that I would like us to focus on in today's video are those dreams that are associated by the types of desires and thoughts of what you would like to be doing within your everyday existence. So in that, I think it's really nice to kind of take some time to explore different variations about the things that we find purpose in doing and purpose in achieving. And in such, you know, it can be quite a complex formula to get to those types of objectives being met. And one of those things I think that has been a pondering question for me is really, what do you think are the type of elements that hold people back from really pursuing their dreams? So think about that for a minute. What would you think are some of the aspects that would kind of hold you back? Maybe some of the boundaries that make you feel that this is not something that you'll be able to achieve in this lifetime or any lifetime for that matter. You know, I think it's always a real treat to take some reflective time when we are really looking to explore really what it is we want to do with the time that we are spending here in existence. And I'd have to say, with all the things that we as a whole have gone through within the last year and still feel some of the remnants of that to this day, it's just been really, I don't know, something that I have really looked at, really trying to focus on and finding ways to pursue those goals and objectives that I've had, maybe have had for quite some time, and just never really took them off that shelf and started to pursue them. Maybe even sometimes I didn't really think that that was something I could pursue, you know? So yeah, that's what this video really is about, is really focusing on those kind of elements that really hold us back. And there could be a plethora of reasons, there could be a plethora of scenarios that can occur for a variety of individuals as to why people may not go through pursuing their goals and their objectives of, you know, really achieving their dreams. So I think for today's video, because that is such a vast area to cover, I'm going to share three that come right to mind for me. And as I'm doing that, hopefully you'll be dropping down some of your comments as well as what you think are elements that can be boundaries or barriers to following your dreams. The first of which I want to share is, I think a big one is change. Yeah, I am one of those people that I'm a creature of habit, and that's just part of my personality. I really do enjoy structure. I feel I thrive off of that. I like to have a plan A, B, C, D, and you know, if I need to go down the list of the alphabet, I will do so. And that's just truly, you know, the essence of me. I really do enjoy having things laid out in such a way that makes sense and gives me abilities to create goals and tasks to get to that point. So that's just really how my makeup is when it comes to that area of thought. And, you know, I like to call myself type A with a twist of a little bit of B. And, you know, that just really has been my personality trait, and it has served me very well in my professional career. And, you know, I think sometimes in the personal area as well. But, you know, with all types of actions, there can be things that can be a little bit of a gift and curse at times, depending on wherever the scenario leads. So I think that change is one of those, when you think of it right off the bat, it's all of a sudden, you know, there's some action that needs to take place, right? Whether you're comfortable with that or not. And that can be pretty jarring for, you know, many people when it comes to really sitting down and mapping out that plan to how they're going to tackle whatever objectives they need to tackle to get to that dream result. And, you know, a funny story comes to mind with that when it comes to change. Now, for me, I am one of those individuals that if a change is going to occur, especially in the professional world, so we'll take that aspect here for a second, it needs to make sense to me, right? I mean, I'm not really one of those individuals that you can just kind of just throw a bunch of stuff down information-wise expecting it to spin on a dime. It's just not how it works. I like to think things through. I like to take the time to really assess what it is that is supposed to be trying to happen, especially if it requires my action and attention to it. And I remember a supervisor of mine that really ended up becoming a really good friend. And actually, I had only known him for about 2 weeks or so. Surely not enough time to assess personalities, but it was so hilarious because there was a situation where another individual had came down to our office and said, hey, look, we're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and we're going to need to do this way, and all these different parameters. I'm just being really just thrown off the top of his head. And it was so funny because before I could really respond to what it is he was talking about, because it would really just sound like gibberish to me, my supervisor kind of chimed in and said, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't do that with her. And I just kind of, sat back like, oh, okay. All right, go ahead, talk that talk. What do you mean, And he says, no, you need to explain exactly what it is that you are looking for, and you need to share exactly what you think is supposed to happen in some form of anything that makes sense before you expect her to just jump in and do it. And I just sat back and I just laughed about that because, yes, that is so true. It's not that I'm resistant to change, but, maybe sometimes I am. I think I'm just more cautious to it. Understand that change is the spice of life, right? Change is probably the only thing that really is constant. You have to evolve, you have to move. And there's also scenarios that will, set in play for you to have to make significant changes, whatever the need arises. And not being afraid of those changes is really going to be a benefit to you, right? But again, when it comes to change, it does need to have some coherency to it that I can work with, especially if you expect me to put my, reputation and abilities on the line. So yeah, change is one of those funny little tricky things. Another thing with change is not only can it seem a bit daunting to actually go through, but look at the aspect of you really maybe walking into an unknown, and that could be a really scary thing, especially when you are used to things to be structured a certain way. Now, many of you know that I am a veteran, and prior to that status, I was actually active duty. And before that, I was a dependent because my father was in the military. And we used to move I would say on average 3 to 4 years. Change is not something that is foreign to me. It's always been pretty much a state of feeling like a bit of a nomad at times. You get to meet people and that's a wonderful thing. You get to see different things, and that's a wonderful thing. You build relationships, and that's a wonderful thing. And then the next thing you know, hey, I pack it up and we're on to new travels. So yeah, so change is just one of those things that really has been a constant frenemy in my life, and I'm sure many can probably relate to that. But that unknown, not knowing how something's going to work out, not knowing if it's going to work out, and then also looking at it from the perspective of what does that mean I have to do? I mean, there's going to definitely have to be some action on my part, right? There's going to probably be some adjustment, maybe in my attitude, maybe in the things that I do, maybe in my schedule. I mean, really the areas of concern when it comes to change can really run amok in your mind. And if you are not able to take a deep breath and just kind of take in the moment, you can get kind of lost in that. And so, it's really good to kind of try to key in your focus on what is the important aspects of what this change is. And, part of doing that is looking at, is this change something that is a necessity? Is it something that is a benefit for you? Is it going to help you move to a new level in life, a new level in your job, a new level in happiness? And so change is really one of those funny things that, maybe on its face, it can seem pretty daunting and scary to go through, and you may not be willing or slightly kicking and screaming along the way. But I think as time starts to move along, you start to see what is working for you within that change. And I do believe that if you are an individual that can really connect with adaptability, you'll begin to adapt yourself to those changes and start working within that change and start utilizing the effects of that change to your advantage, which is really can be a positive thing. So yeah, change can be scary, but it can also be good. Change can also be exhilarating in the sense that it kind of shakes things up for you, right? It takes you out of the monotony of whatever the day is or whatever is going on in your life. And every now and again, it's okay to shake things up a little bit, you know? It's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think that we just grow so much as a person when we are open to that concept of change. So yeah, I definitely would say one of the elements or aspects that really can sometimes stop people cold in their tracks for achieving their dreams, or at least a version of that, is change. And I think one of the best remedies to change, as someone who has really seen a lot of that in their lifetime, and I'm pretty sure I am not alone in that. So if that resonates with you, go ahead and drop a yes down in the comment section. You know, because as I said, I cannot be alone in that. But yeah, change is just one of those things that really has been something I know for me have become extremely comfortable with. May not always be my desired initiative at the moment. It depends on what's going on, but understanding that if there is a goal in mind that I want to pursue and there is something that I'm trying to strive for, I definitely will need to make the time to make the adjustments that's necessary to embrace that change, so it doesn't seem so daunting, so it doesn't seem so scary, because the unknown is out there. And you know, one of the things I think is great about change, when you get to a point where you may be a little locked into that nervousness about change, is look at your experiences prior, right? Life is a great teacher of many lessons and many ways of really strategizing your situation as best to your ability. And I think if you fall back on your experience in life in general and fall back on things that you have achieved in the past and adding that into your psyche, will make it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit easier to start to make those steps towards that change direction. Because there are times naturally where change is, honestly, it really is inevitable. Maybe in a situation where you can have things that are laid out a certain way and not much changes in that. And that can be okay if that serves you well and that fulfills you. If you are not in a situation where that fulfills you and you're looking for opportunities to strike out a little bit, taking your change motion and starting small in certain paths to get you to that next step is really the way to go. And making sure that you take some time to reflect on past accomplishments, past achievements, other experiences that have been what you might have thought insurmountable at the time, but you got through it, and really rely on that to help you through the fear of change. Now, another element that can be a barrier to change, well, that could be confidence or the lack thereof. Yeah, you'd be amazed of how intimidating sometimes the concept of pursuing a dream can really put some humbling perspective on your outlook on things when it comes to really looking at how you're going to start to pursue elements to get to whatever that dream result is. And, you know, when you talk about confidence, you know, sometimes I think you may think that you have it in all aspects, and if whatever you're doing now is working for you, you know, then confidence may not be such an issue. But I tell you what, it's a humbling thing when you're about to step and embark into a new venture in your existence, and yeah, you kind of are like, can I do it? Is this something I can do? How dare I even dream of this? I mean, can I dream of this? Can this happen to me? And I have to say the answer is yes, I think all of those. Yeah, you can dream it. Yeah, you can think it. Yeah, you can be it. And I say that when you can really start to play it in your mind like a slight mini movie of you achieving whatever that goal is, you know, what it may look like, what where you might be, what the space that you're in, is showing you, are you in a meeting with people? Are you looking at examples of something for some type of project that you're working on? Are you doing some type of session with individuals, doing group conferences? I mean, whatever. I'm a firm believer that if you can see yourself in achievement of a particular goal or your dream, then you can put yourself in a position to start to become that. Now, of course, there may be different elements that you'll need to meet in order to get to some of those tasks accomplished. But if you can see yourself in that position, if you can see yourself reaching that goal, if you can see yourself feeling fulfilled by reaching that goal, you see yourself in a space where that has happened and you're talking about it in the current state versus in the I wish I coulda, woulda, and if maybe it will state, then guess what? You can work on steps to achieve it. So I think one of the beautiful things about reaching for your dreams is the innate ability to build on confidence. Yeah. Because as you're going through those different elevations that are necessary to get to that result, you're seeing yourself getting those quick wins. And quick wins are really important because it gives you a confidence boost, really. And it really does start to show, look how far I've come from point A to point B. Before you know it, you've gathered skills and abilities that you once were afraid to even embark on. And that's the building of confidence. Oh, it is so fulfilling when you have accomplished a certain skill level or a certain ability to do something that you didn't think that you could have done just a few months prior. Whether it's self-taught or you have embarked on the right type of trainings and the right type of mentorship that has assisted you in moving through some of those objectives that you were working on, whatever plan of that you are in, it is such a rewarding feeling to see all those things that you are really achieving just in the steps to get to that dream. So that alone right there is a confidence booster. I mean, it's an awesome feeling to look at yourself from a past perspective and then see yourself just a few weeks or a few months or even a year later and be like, wow, look how much I've grown. And with that, you are building confidence, you're building reassurance, you're building your own support system, and really creating your own cheerleader. And that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. And it is a confidence building thing. So just get started, right? Just start making a plan. And with every step you get closer, you are going to innately build upon that confidence. And before you know it, you're going to be where you need to be. Or maybe even a better version of what you saw originally. Who knows? Possibilities are endless. And the last element I want to cover that may be a barrier to individuals pursuing their dreams is fear. Yeah, good old dirty fear. But not always fear in the way you think. Yes, there is an aspect that we are very well aware of, which is the fear of failure, the fear of not achieving, the fear of not accomplishing, the fear of not meeting up to the expectations that you have put upon yourself. And I think one of the things that you can do to help you in focusing less on the aspect of failure when it comes to certain objectives not being met in the way that you initially set out to meet them is to look at them as lessons, because in most cases that's really what it is. It's lessons. It's challenges. It's abilities to look at something from a different perspective and change course or do something different to really shake things up to make whatever objective that you're trying to achieve towards your dream to happen. And I think if you can really put in the essence of flexibility, you will understand a lot quicker that those things that really seemed as failures are really just lessons learned. A guide to saying, oh, well, I'm not going to do that again. So let me go ahead and try this and see how this works out. So flexibility for sure, I think, is a very big component to helping you understand that things that don't always work out according to plan and the exact way that you saw them does not mean that you have to stop your plan. It just means you need to take a moment to reflect and make some adjustments. So remember, when you're looking at the things that really can add up in your mind as what would look at like as failure, just remember that they're not failures. They're challenges and lessons. And we could all learn from challenges and lessons. There is this one saying that I actually like that says sometimes you just have to fail your way to success. And depending on the level of what those obstacles are, it can be subjective as to how you may feel at the end. But I love the premise of that because, there are a lot of times in life and that we may not even realize that we just, we're working towards something and it doesn't quite working out to plan. We just adjust and make a new plan. Because if this is something that we really want, we're going to do whatever we can to make that happen. And when you are pursuing your dream, I think you need to look at it in that same way as well. So, you set yourself up with what things you need to help you move forward in that. And also be open to the possibility that whatever your initial goal of dream result is maybe a little bit different as you are going along your journey. And, things may end up being even more an abundance than you could have even realized. So not getting yourself caught up so much in that fear cycle of thinking that you are not going to be good enough, that you're not able to, and as soon as something doesn't go right exactly what you want it, then oh my gosh, it's all over and done. Take a step back, take a deep breath back if you need to, go back a few steps if you need to, but get yourself back on track by understanding that if you really focus on what you can learn from those particular objectives that are not quite met, you will get yourself to the direction that is needed in order to, you got it, get to that dream. But like I said earlier, that fear of failure isn't always the fear that one may be considering. There's also the fear of success. Like, what if this doesn't work out? What if I am able to make lots of money or be able to reach lots of people or really establish large crowds and conferences or, really be able to come up with some stellar products that really take off? Am I ready for that? Am I ready for the success that could come from that? Or will that make me feel a little timid and maybe a little nervous about what that means? Because with success, getting to it is one thing, maintaining may be a whole nother thing, right? It'd be a whole nother set of rules that you need to evaluate, but that's okay. You just want to lean into that a little bit and you will be fine. But yeah, fear of success is a real thing. And I remember the first time I heard it a few years ago, I thought, wow, how profound is that? Because, you might be an individual that you feel confident about what you can do. You're confident about your skills. You're confident about what your goals are. And you know exactly what it is you want to do. But then you sit there and think about, oh my gosh, what if that all happens? What if this dream I have put in my mind is now actually working and I'm doing it? And then, other things might fall into place there where you might start to be a fear of losing that. But I think if you stay dedicated to those things and true to yourself and what works best for what your goal is and desired dream, you're going to be okay. So, I don't know. When I think about the concept of fear of success, I look at it, well, not so much really what if, but really what if I don't? What's the cost of my happiness then? Is that cost too high? Will that cost lead to resentment? And I don't know about you, but resentment to me is a little bit too high of a price. So I know for me, I'm going to keep on trudging to that dream because I think that in a lot of ways, what do you have to lose? Honestly, what do you have to lose? And even if things don't work out exactly how you planned, that doesn't mean something won't work out. And really, isn't it worth figuring that out? Isn't it worth trying? Yeah. there's another saying that I really love, and it goes something like, the only real sense of failure is if you don't even try. So if you at least try, you're in the game. And you can't have any thoughts of winning the tournament if you don't get into the game. So get in the game. Well, everybody, I'm so glad that you spent a little bit of time with me today. And I really do hope that today's video was one that gets you to thinking about some of those goals that you're looking at, some of those dreams that you want to fulfill, and maybe taking a look in a different way of how you can go about, if any of these three areas are something that you're challenged with, how you can look at making some adjustments to kind of get yourself out of those areas and back on track to whatever that dream goal is. And of course, I would love to know your thoughts about what you think are elements or obstacles that can be an issue when it comes to individuals pursuing their dream. And yeah, if any of the ones that I shared in today's video you resonate with, pop me a comment down below on that. I would love to know your thoughts when it comes to that. And hey, together we are going to tackle those dreams one way or another. So again, I am so glad that you were able to spend a little bit of time with me. And as always, I wish you a productively happy rest of your week. And of course, please continue to be safe. And until next time, take care. Bye.